Late one evening, in the quiet town of Fairbrook, there was an old abandoned house at the edge of the woods. No one had lived there for decades, and its windows, long cracked and boarded up, seemed to watch passers-by. Local children dared each other to approach it, but none of them ever ventured too close after dusk. One rainy night, a curious young woman named Emma, new to the town, heard the whispered rumors about the house. People spoke of strange noises coming from within, scratching, whispering voices, and the occasional flicker of light in the windows. Most dismissed it as superstition, but Emma's skepticism led her to challenge the tales. She waited until the rain turned into a light mist, then set off towards the house. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds, and the only sound was the soft tap of her shoes against the wet earth. As she reached the house, she paused, noticing that the door, which was usually locked tight, was slightly ajar. Her breath quickened, but she pushed it aside and stepped inside. The air was thick and cold, filled with the musty scent of decay. The floor creaked beneath her weight as she moved through the dark hallway, her flashlight casting eerie shadows. The walls were covered in peeling wallpaper, and strange symbols were scratched into the wood like desperate pleas for escape. Suddenly, the silence was broken by a faint rustling from upstairs. Emma froze. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she was too curious to turn back now. She crept up the stairs, each step echoing in the stillness. At the top, she saw a door slightly ajar, a pale light flickering from within. She approached, her breath shallow, and pushed the door open. Inside, the room was empty, save for an old, dusty mirror. But what made her blood run cold wasn't the mirror. It was the reflection in it. Standing behind her just inches away was a figure, pale, gaunt, and dressed in tattered clothes. Its eyes were black voids, and its mouth stretched into a grotesque grin. Emma turned quickly, but the room was still empty. She spun back toward the mirror, and the figure was still there, closer now, its grin wider, more menacing. A cold hand brushed her shoulder, and she screamed, but no sound escaped her lips. The last thing Emma saw before everything went black was the reflection of herself in the mirror, standing motionless, her eyes empty, her smile not her own. In the morning, the house was as it always had been, silent, abandoned, forgotten. But when the town's children dared each other to approach the old house once more, they noticed something strange. The reflection in the mirror, which had been left behind, was always slightly different. It never quite showed the person who looked into it.